We'll get started. So today we're going to talk about the RX480 radio frequency chip, and it's just a nice little device. There's a receiver, and then there's a transmitter. The transmitter is a small chip too, but we're going to actually use this convenient remote control. So inside here is the chip. I'll show you the chip and the board and the small board, because I have some also that are outside of this. So what we're going to do is this will give us a chance to work with the GPIO pins as inputs. We had an earlier lab where we blinked the LED and used the GPIO pin as an output. This is a very common chip, the Qiachip RX480. There are lots of videos on YouTube to just get that up and going. I'll just kind of talk through it very quickly. Also very cheap. And just to kind of add to this experience, we're going to mimic a situation that might occur in say, a behavioral neuroscience lab. We're going to imagine that we have, say, a mouse in this room, and we're presenting, let's say, novel objects in each of these alcoves, A, B, C. And we're going to use this device as the experimenter, and we're going to click on the A button for alcove A, click on B for alcove B, and we're going to both time how long the mouse, this sort of fake mouse that we'll be imagining, is spending in each alcove, and how many visits it does. So it'll kind of put this in context. If you're going along with the series and you're up to this point, then everything will be super, super easy. If you have just gotten your LuckFox and you haven't worked with it at all yet, then I really recommend the video by Fusion Automate on YouTube. That will get you all set up. He has one video there on installing Ubuntu, which is what we've been using through this whole series. So we can run Linux on these chips, and you want to get to that point. All of the labs that we've used have built off of getting that set up from his video. Now, we're going to add a little twist to this. This LuckFox is quite a powerful little microcontroller for its cost. And so earlier in this lab sequence, we added all these big Python packages, including matplotlib. So we're going to take those data that we get and actually create PNGs, and then we'll export them over to the main machine and look at those. So we will need Lecture 1 material. So if you haven't done that, then I encourage you to go to Lecture 1 in this series to get your LuckFox all set up with the necessary Python packages. All right, with that, let's get to the chip. Okay, so this is what we've got here, and I'll put the remote right here, and the receiver is over here. You can't really see that, so it's sitting right here. And so one thing that I purchased on Amazon was these two devices here. Well, one single device, and that is relatively inexpensive, $10 for this, very convenient thing. Let me show you this picture, and unfortunately, I can't. I move my mouse around, the picture moves. But what you can see here are the pins. There's the ground and the voltage, and there's quite a range of voltage here. We're going to run it with a 3.3 volt out from our LuckFox. Then you can see pins D0 through D3. Those are going to be associated with A, B, C, D respectively. And so when you press the button, those will send a high voltage to those pins. And then VT is that will send a high voltage whenever you press the button. And finally, the voltage will remain high if you hold the button down. So that's convenient. So it doesn't just send a pulse; it remains high. Now you also see over here this set. So this is the transmitter that's sitting inside of here. And I also was able to purchase a few of those, and you can see currently unavailable, I guess, but I'm sure you can find other other versions of these. And this was just a 3-pack. I did have to solder on the antennas, but that wasn't a big deal. So those are the devices that we'll be using. Okay, so not too much to set up. So if you've done, as I mentioned in the intro, if you've done our earlier sequences, we're all set and ready to go. So let's look at the wiring diagram first then. So here's the LuckFox Pro, or Max. We have the Max here. And so we're over here with this. What I've got here is our transmitter, our receiver device, and each of the pins D0 through D4, or D3, I guess, are connected to this bank of this LED bus. So we don't need all these LEDs, we just need the first 4. And then the last one is connected to the VT pin, so this will go on every time we press a button. I've got these 470 ohm resistors just to help protect those LEDs. So it's already set up, but let me, as I mentioned, you can find the setup on this very easily on YouTube. But what you first do is you press, there's a little button right here, kind of hard to see this beige colored button. You press that 8 times and that resets the whole chip, and then you press it once and then press and hold down one of the buttons on your remote. Or if you've got this, you just send a high voltage to the one of the pins here, so as if you're pressing down a button. And that will they say learn the transmitter will learn the receiver will learn which transmitter it should be looking at. Okay, so that's all set up, and notice here now when I press the button, I'll get this wire out of the way. I press the button. I'm gonna press the A button. The A light goes on and the VT light goes on. I'm gonna press the B button. We go down 1. The C button, and the D button. So that can control, and again, so I'll go up here, A, B, C, D. Okay, so we're all set up and working. Now these wires are heading back to the LuckFox, and they're going into pins, A goes to 52, B goes to 53, and then C goes to 56 and D goes to 57. After I'm done filming this video, I have to go check and see if I ruined these pins 54 and 55. It's important that the LuckFox doesn't handle a 5-volt in. You want to use 3.3, and I originally had the RF receiver hooked up to 5 volts. Easy mistake to make because the 5 volts is very common. So you want to use 3.3 volt inputs here. So with that, the LuckFox is all wired up. The LuckFox is supplying the voltage here, so we're using the ground. We got to make sure we have the same ground, and then we're using the 3.3 output as our supply here for the receiver. Then there's just a battery inside this remote. Okay, so that is all set up. Let's go ahead and grab the program we need before we get to the terminal. So you just search me here on Google, and it's going to be darrenolness.com, and we'll go there. Then under Teaching, LuckFox, and we're going to go down here to the RX480 and this neuroscience program. And so then we'll copy all of this. And this is our longest program, but even here it's not that long, so you can accomplish quite a bit with just a small amount of code. And then let's go to the terminal. I'm going to minimize this. And here is my LuckFox on top here. This is my main machine here down on this terminal. So we'll go sudo nano RX 480, and then I'll say neuro and .py. So notice again on my site I have them as .text files, but they're really Python files. Put your password in, and then we will paste in our code. Code is all in here. So again, let's kind of walk through the code kind of quickly. So these are identifying, time is just for delays, sleep delays. Then we are actually going to import matplotlib. We're actually going to see a consequence of this is that it will take probably 2 seconds or so for the program to actually enter the main loop because matplotlib is a pretty big package, and although this is a pretty powerful microcontroller, it's still a microcontroller. It's not a regular computer. And then we have the periphery. So this is stuff we've installed before if you've been with us with the series. Okay, so now these are the pins that I mentioned. These are just, this is a dictionary that is going to keep track of the counts. They're all set to 0 for the number of times it visits room A, and then also keep track of the time. So time is going to be keeping track of how long it's in each room. Okay. Then we have a couple of functions here. This is really the main function, and this is the one that's going to be reading the pins. So we have the pin reads here. And if it's 1, then it'll add the time. And so we've got that. Then let's look at this function here. This is just to generate the plot. So this is a standard matplotlib function. And then we just have a loop that's just going to keep pulling for the pins. And so that'll be it. Okay, so let's go ahead and exit this now. Hit yes, and we're out. So now let's run this, and what we will see is it'll take a minute to take a few seconds to get going, and we'll get a printout saying that it's ready to record, and then we will just pretend we're watching this mouse go to the different alcoves, and we'll just press buttons and watch that. So we'll go ahead and switch this to Python 3, and we'll run this and see nothing. It's running here, but matplotlib is loading here now, and soon it will come up, and when it does, then we'll start. Okay, so now we can start. So I'm just going to press buttons. You can watch over here. So mouse is originally in D, then we'll move to A, back to D, back to A, back to D, back to C, C right to B, back to D, back to C, back to D, back to A, back to D, hangs out in D for a while, back to B, back to D, back to C, hangs out in C for a while, back to D, back to B, and so on. So I think that's probably enough. And then we'll hit Control-C to exit. And it should have saved the plots. So let's go ahead and look for those. And sure enough, here are the two plots here. So we can't obviously view them on the LuckFox, but we can SCP them over to our machine. So let's go down here to my machine, my main machine here, and I will pull over the mouse time spent. So SCP, then this would be your login and wherever your LuckFox is, and then you can take it from your LuckFox directory. I was in this projects directory that I'm doing all these projects in, and that's where the file is. So I'll grab it and then I'll send it to the downloads folder on my machine. So I'll go ahead and hit enter there. Got to hit my password. That's the password for the LuckFox, and that should come over. And now let's that was time spent. and now visits. So now we're doing mouse visits here. Okay, and let's go see if those got in. Here's our download folder. Here's our mouse visits. These are what just came over. So let's go ahead and make sure that looks right. And sure enough, so here's our two results. Nice graphs made on the LuckFox with Matplotlib, saved as a PNG, and then sent over. And the blue is just the number of visits to each, and then the green is the time spent in each alcove in the main room. All right. Well, that's an application of both the RX480 radio frequency chip and also application of inputs for the GPIO pins on the LuckFox.